You know, it's crazy to me that Giannis every single season gets better and we just kind of ignore it. We normalize what this guy does every single season and it ain't normal. Like, think about it. A guy goes out there and averages at least 25 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, 5 to 6 assists on over 50% shooting, and we just act like that's regular. Nah, that ain't regular, bruh. And when I say this, I fully understand that Giannis has 2 MVPs coming in back-to-back seasons, so I'm not saying that he's gotten no type of credit or recognition for his accomplishments. But when you look at what he has done over the last couple of seasons that he hasn't won an MVP, it's insane that people have not really talked about it. Like last year, Giannis went out there and had a historic season and wasn't even really in the conversation for MVP. I mean, last year he literally averaged 28, 11, and 6 on 57% shooting from the field, and he wasn't in the convo for MVP? I mean, I understand voter fatigue, but based on the NBA's criteria for an MVP, why was he not in the convo but Steph Curry was? I mean, Steph Curry is my favorite player, but he was an 8th seed. Meanwhile, Giannis was a top 3 seed in his own conference with those numbers. And I think this year he's having another all-time great season that's kinda once again going under the radar because this man is easily the best player in the world in my personal opinion at this moment. And when I say easily, I'm not saying that there aren't other contenders. Obviously, you have Kevin Durant, you have Steph Curry. If you want to throw LeBron James in there, I have no problem with that. Hell, Nikola Jokic fans, have at it. He has an argument as well. But the reason I say easily for Giannis, in my personal opinion, is simply due to the fact that if anybody else had done what Giannis did last year in the postseason, combined with what he's already done in the past with 2 regular season MVPs in back-to-back seasons, a defensive player of the year, all NBAs, all defensive teams, combined with the numbers that he's put up in those years, I just can't shake this feeling that if anybody else around the top 5 would have done what he did in those seasons combined with the playoffs last year, that they would have been given the title of the best player in the world. And look, I'm not saying that Giannis is just completely buried and nobody talks about him and people just act like he's not in the conversation. That's not what I'm saying at all. But by the end of this video, you guys will fully understand what I mean when I say that Giannis is truly the best player in the NBA and no one cares. But before I get into my bag, you guys make sure you drop a like on this video to show support to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. This team has been on fire. They're a small market team, even though they've won a championship, but we all see it. They do not get enough love in the media. So if you want to show love to the Bucks and their small market ways, drop a like on this video. Let's try to get up there with those likes, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press that bell for post notifications as well. But without further ado, let's get this thing started and talk about Giannis's improvement this year. When you look at Giannis every single season, he has gotten better almost every single year. Like, it's insane to me that Giannis actually finds new ways to get better, considering that he was already elite in the years prior. I mean, this man is 27 years old, smack dab in the middle of his prime, and every single year he finds a way to get better. You don't see that from a lot of players in NBA history, much less in the league today. It shows he actually puts in work in the gym and has a lot of drive to get better, and we could see that with just Giannis's transformation in his body over the years of his career. I mean, to go from a kid who looked like he needed a sandwich to a guy that could eat a whole family, obviously this guy was hitting the gym and hitting the foods, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't just his body transformation, his game has evolved as well. One of the things that he has improved at is his ability to play make. And if I'm being honest, I think this is one of the more overlooked traits in his arsenal. We all know how effective he is in transition with the ability to finish at the rim or make the right reads in the passing game in transition, whether it's driving kicks or whatever type of pass he needs to make. And one of the things I thought he struggled at in the past was his ability to make reads out of the double teams. Because if you go back to a lot of series, primarily the series against the Miami Heat and Toronto Raptors, it was clear whenever he got hit with that wall or that double team, he genuinely just didn't know what to do, and it had me scared that Giannis was never going to win a championship, because how could you not make the right reads out of those plays when there's clearly guys open. But I understand he was playing with smelly Eric Bledsoe, so what can you do? But ever since the Miami Heat series, he has truly grown as a playmaker with the ability to find guys on the perimeter or with the cuts whenever he's presented with a double team or that wall. I mean, I be seeing Giannis in the half court make some great passes over the last couple of years, and he's always been a great passer, but man, it's gotten to another level over the last season or two. And when you combine that with his gravity in the paint with the ability to collapse the defense, I have to say that Giannis's playmaking is easily one of the more overlooked aspects of his game. Sure, he may not be LeBron James or Nikola Jokic, but there aren't many guys like that in the league. I could count them on one hand. But when you're still talking about the better playmakers in the league, Giannis is definitely in that conversation. But the biggest improvement this year has to be his jump shot. Now, I know some people are going to hear that and groan. They're going to be like, bro, Giannis still can't shoot. He's shooting below average from 3 and he's shooting below 70% at the free throw line. Give it up. And my response to that is yes, those two things are true. Giannis from 3 has been wildly inconsistent. He'll have his hot days like yesterday on his birthday hitting 3 threes, and then he'll have his cold days where he'll go like 1 of 5 or 0 of 6. Who knows? But if you actually pay attention to the games as far as his 3-point shooting goes, he looks way more confident making those jumpers. Obviously, he isn't getting guarded at the 3-point line, but there are times where Giannis will just be dribbling the ball in the half court and he'll just walk into a 3. Like no hesitation whatsoever, and in a lot of these games, he is making them. I'm just saying. Now, don't take that as me saying that he's Kevin Durant now, that you gotta guard him at the 3-point line, he's stretching out the defense. No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that if you watch the games, he looks a lot more confident taking those jump shots. And yeah, the free throw percentage ain't the best, but he slowed down his routine, and that's what a lot of you niggas were complaining for, right? But when it comes to his shooting, that's actually not what I wanted to talk about, because his mid-range shooting is something that's being completely overlooked right now. Giannis as a mid-range shooter has improved to near elite levels this season. Trust me, I'm not capping when I say that. This guy is actually shooting over 40% in the mid-range, 42% to be exact. And if you watch him, he's not just doing some open mid-range jumpers off of spot-ups. No, he's doing some turnaround fades, mid-range pull-ups, some spot-ups on occasion. And a lot of these ain't open mid-range jumpers either. Some of these are contested and he's making them. And I love that for Giannis, because this is a guy that if he just takes one step as a shooter, the league is finished. I mean, the league was already finished. He's got 2 MVPs and a championship, but now that he's got this mid-range bag, that's just another level of fatality to his game. Because I consistently say over and over, when I talk about a guy like KD, you can't teach height, and Giannis is nearly 7 feet tall, and with the ability to shoot over people, if he can add that to his game, whether in the mid-range game or 3-point line, I could care less where it is. It's going to be a deadly move in his arsenal that only makes him that much lethal as a scorer. So when you look at Giannis this season with his improvement not only as a playmaker but primarily his improvement as a shooter in the mid-range area, it's no argument as far as him getting better this season and taking his game to another level in height. And mind you, I haven't even touched on anything that he's capable of on the defensive side of the ball, because I think that just goes without being said that he's one of the greatest defenders of his generation. Like, I shouldn't even have to explain those things. We should all come to mutual agreement on how great or how impactful he is as a defender. But speaking of impact, that brings me to my conclusion of this video. When we're talking about the best player in the NBA, I believe that Giannis easily has the throne right now based on what he's done over the last year or two. I mean, think about it. Over the last 4 seasons in the NBA, Giannis has spent it either having consecutive MVP seasons that were historic, or a year in which he won the championship in a historic playoff run. And right now he's picking up where he left off in the playoffs with another historic regular season, and yet he's not even the favorite for MVP right now. And I'm not saying that he should be, but he is definitely in the conversation, and by the end of the year he might even win the damn thing. And with the resume that he already has at the age of 27, it blows my mind that a lot of these media guys are not slobbering over him. Pause. Because if this were Luka Doncic or Ja Morant, you know they'd be already talking about if he can become the greatest player of all time. But because he's playing in Milwaukee, or maybe because he's foreign, who knows, they're just not going to give him that love and respect that he rightfully deserves. But that's why I'm making this this video because Giannis is the best player in the world and nobody cares but me. But if you also care and you want to show support to Giannis for being the actual best player in the world, then feel free to drop a like on this video to get me up in the algorithm so as many people can see it and I can spread the word. Also, when you do that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press that bell for post notifications to join the family and be notified when I drop some heat like always. Also, don't forget to check out the latest episode of Hoop Concessions. We just dropped episode 54 where we even talked about Giannis versus Steph for MVP, the Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons trade rumors, and just a multitude of topics, so make sure you go and check it out. The link is down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.